Hey everybody, it's Role Playing Public Radio. I am your host, Brisket, Basket, Budget, Bisquick. I am God's special princess and most interesting girl in the world. And today we are doing another section of Drow and Dracoliches. This is the follow-up to the sudden events of last episode where we sent Daelia to hell. Speaking of... Where I sent Daelia to hell. Speaking of,
Xastra sent you to hell.
Speaking of, that leads us into today's sponsor, $succubus.com. For only a subscription of $1 a day, you too can have easy access to a succubus. So, in Discord order, could you please reintroduce yourselves and your characters?
I am Faye. I am playing Rushk. That's all you need to know.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm playing Daelia and Volsa, coming to you from the Seven Hells.
I am Winter or Lydia, depending on who you ask and when. I'm playing Xastra Telarr, a perfect good girl who has never done anything wrong.
Bullshit. Absolutely not.
God.
Winter, would you like to give us a true and accurate synopsis of the last episode?
Absolutely. We fought some zombies. There were explosions. There was a cool bone dragon, a giant bone mech, and then Daelia got dragged to hell through no fault of my own.
Right, and there was nothing in the moments before Daelia was dragged to hell that you were responsible for?
No. Not at all.
Oh boy.
Alrighty. So last time Daelia got dragged to hell. So we're going to do our first scene a little bit after Daelia was dragged to hell by her summoned servant that she summoned to help her fight the giant bone mech. So, Xastra, you're standing there a little dumbstruck. The smell of sulfur is in the air. You are covered in zombie bits and other nefarious gore, perhaps a few shards of bone. There is a shattered bone mech leaning ominously against the tower of Derelift. And you hold in your hands a contract, well, not a contract, it's more like a written missive saying that if you wish to be present for the defense of Daelia and Volsa's immortal soul, you are required to come to Diz in the Nine Helves of Beator. What do you want to do?
She looks very dumbstruck. And then she'll be like, I need to go find Rushk right now. And then she's going to take off running.
Rushk can't be trusted. Gets in trouble. I have to find Rushk.
No, everybody gangster till they need a favor from Rushk.
I'm fine with Rushk. Rushk and I are great. Rushk never did anything wrong to me.
So, apropos of nothing, could I please have you make a wisdom roll?
Oh, good. That's a 1?
God damn.
Okay. Do you have any abilities that would enhance your perception check that you might want to spend just as a question?
I have the stunt of divine sense. The presence of great good or evil registers in your senses.
No. Well, yeah, I'll let you, if you want to add 2 to this, but I don't think that's, if you want to add 2 or reroll, I'll let you, but I don't think you're gonna make it. So instead,
I rerolled and got a 1.
Excellent. I'm so proud of you. Good job. So what I would like you to do is, can you roll your Constitution again, apropos from
Oh yeah. That's a 3. I rolled a 0.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Daelia, I just want you to know I'm so sorry if we can't rescue you.
Okay, 3.
What's the difference between my roll and what I was going for?
I'm adding that right now. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Using a stunt plus 2 is 9. Unaware, flat-footed. 11.
Right, versus my 3?
11 versus your 3.
So I gotta take...
You're gonna take 8 stress.
Oh,
right. It'll
boy.
take a mild, a moderate, and my 2 stress box.
Whew.
You're taking a mild and a moderate?
Yes.
Oh boy.
All right, so for your mild, take bleeding, and for your moderate, take concerning chest wound.
What's going on?
So you're sprinting towards Rushk.
Yep. Or
Doing your
trying to find Rushk.
And in your haste, you have just enough time to register the killing intent of an unknown assailant before a dagger seems to spring from your chest as though it was a flower blooming from nothing, as your own blood begins to drip down your very fancy silver knight armor.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Your assailant soon makes herself known, and you can see that there is a steel to her visage, as though you are the most detestable thing that she has ever laid eyes on. You recognize her as the Drow assassin from 9 episodes ago.
Oh my god.
Yep. I would like to spend a fate point for a flashback.
Okay. What do you want your flashback to be?
As I recall, this is the same person I spent some time with locked in a room.
Okay.
Or, well,
a
version
of a person.
phantom of this person, yeah.
Yep. And at the time, I did not ask anything because I could not think of anything to ask in character.
Okay. So
It seems like a perfect opportunity to remember these things.
What is the conversation you totally actually had several episodes ago? 3 episodes ago.
I think the kind of vibe I wanted to go for is just kind of trying to ascertain who this is and how she got in this situation with me.
Who this is and how she got in this situation. Okay, so do you just ask her leading questions about who she is?
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, my name's Xastra. Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, she's a little worried, a little cautious of you because she is, desperately pleading for you not to kill her. Every time you come near to the little tree. And she says, my name is Sinril. Yeah?
Hang on. I think when I stopped my blade from hitting the tree, I didn't stop it quite fast enough, and it nicked it. And I think she's got a tiny cut on her neck.
Okay, so she's putting compression on it. She's like, if you
And I
must
put my
know,
sword away.
the Drow you almost slew is a valued member of House Bainra. My name is Sinril, and I am one of the senior. I don't know, what did Drow call their assassins? It's probably something cool. It's a cool word in Drow. We'll look it up later. Ross, add it in post.
Yeah, get on it, Ross.
The Drow word for assassin is Velgular.
Sinril Bainra.
Sinril Bainra.
We haven't met before, have we?
We have. Your horrible companion treated me terribly. Although I guess that's to be expected when we're locked in mortal combat.
Oh, you're the one Rushk stabbed, huh?
Well, I don't know that it was a human that managed to lay a hand on me, but yes, some nefarious thing did in fact wound me.
I wish we could have treated you better in that situation.
Yes.
She's put her sword away now.
Well, when we meet again, I wish you would show me the same deference.
Of course. How did you end up here?
Well, I was minding my own business, and then here I am.
Of course.
Is that not how sorcery works?
I suppose it is. I don't quite understand how I've ended up here either.
Did you not come through the door?
I did, but so did my companions, and they do not seem to still be here.
And I can assume that we are dealing with some kind of strange, perverted wizard.
Often the case.
Yes, quite.
I always hate these towers.
Is there any other information you're trying to get out of her?
I don't think so.
Okay. When you finally manage to leave the room, she says farewell, and soon she will be able to remove the stain on her family's honor that you represent.
Is that before or after I slit her throat?
That's before.
You did find us sitting in silence. Yeah,
that would be why the vibes got real awkward.
Yeah.
Rancid even. So you see the same woman, glaring at you. And she seems in no hurry to retrieve the dagger that is lodged in your armor. So
Yeah.
you might want to remove that. It might not be strictly good for you. And instead, she draws her two small, scary-looking swords. It slowly advances on you. And she practically spits her words when she talks to you and says, "You!
Sinril,
How do you know my name?"
we spoke before, didn't we? In the chambers of that strange wizard tower.
Us? Never.
I saw
Don't
you die.
try to distract me from what I am here to do. You took her away, and you have to pay.
Yay.
She looks
Then
a
she
little
looks at you.
confused at this, but she has drawn her weapon at this point.
She's gonna fucking murder you. But you're not surprised anymore, so she doesn't get to use all of her murder stunts. So she's just gonna try and kill you, and then you get to kill her back if you'd like.
Mhm.
Do you want to dodge, or do you want to tank the hit?
Well, my constitution is better than my dexterity, so I will try and tank the hit.
All right, so we're relying on our armor then. She gets a 5. I have written here on her character sheet that the thing she's good at is, quote, killing people. So,
I got a 2.
okay. If you don't want to
So
spend anything, that's 3 stress.
I will fill my 3 box.
So, what's it look like when she's trying to murder you with her swords and you're just barely staying alive?
I think I am just attempting to parry as best as I can. I'm trying to get Night's Edge and Eclipse into positions where they can be helpful, but I don't think it's working out. And then
She's like ducking your swords and like moving around your singing swords, and several times her sword scrape your armor. She gets the chainmail under your armpit. She gets the rib cage on the other side, and you're like, "Wow, I almost died."
Yep, I did almost die. And then I think she's going to say something like, "I didn't take her away. She got dragged to hell."
Absolving yourself of guilt is something you could do before your god. It's your turn. What do you want to do?
I would like to try and talk her down.
Okay. I guess use your charisma and against her undying hatred of you?
Oh, yeah.
What is that? How big is that stat? Her undying hatred. What stat is that?
It's quite large.
For what it is worth, I have gotten a 10.
Okay. For
to try and overcome her undying hatred.
So she's got a 6. I'm going to spend some fate points to make it go to average. Again, her undying hatred and then loyal servant. I'm going to spend those and bring it to 10. Ties go to the defender.
Yep.
She hesitates a little bit. You can feel like you might be getting somewhere, but you're gonna. This is not a quick sprint. This is going to be a long marathon trying to convince her.
Yep.
She's just going to go at you again. You want to dodge or you want to use your armor?
Before you roll, I would like to concede the fight.
Okay. She beats you handily, but as you've decided to concede the fight, somehow you don't die through some miracle. Or perhaps her better judgment. How do you want this fight to end?
So she swings her sword at me. I drop mine and catch her arm. And then I rest her blade against my neck. And I say, I am going to go get her back from hell. If I can't, I will find you and you can kill me yourself.
So she lets that blade cut a little. That's going to hurt. But just before it gets deep enough to start causing problems, she gets a strange look on her face and then turns away. She doesn't say anything. She just disappears from whence she came. You get a fate point for losing.
I do, and I also get 2 more fate points because I took 2 consequences in that fight.
Yay! All right. That's you getting your ass beat. Let's go to Daelia. Daelia, you are in a strange and twisting vortex of screaming and crying souls. Some of them are wailing in frustration. Some are babbling to themselves. Some are weeping openly. You're being carried through this maelstrom by the Barghest. who has you gently around the waist and is explaining to you the process you're about to undergo.
Oh boy.
And she's like, listen, okay, you want to get this out of the way early. You don't want to sit through a long trial. So I have the option to offer you unconditional surrender. All right. If you just say, okay, this is going to happen, I forfeit my soul, we can get you on the fast track to devilhood. Okay. You can skip the whole being used as currency in a war between devils and demons. All right. This is the way to go. So you do have to be a method for a little while, but it's only a short amount of time. It's like 100 years. It's not a big deal. Okay. We will have you at succubus status as soon as possible. Just, like before we get there, this is a very short offer. Like, because like once we land in Avernus, I mean, it's null and you're going to have to sit in the court and you really don't want to. Trust me.
I gotta say, I do appreciate the offer very much, but I got a lot to finish up there. I have some unfinished business, and I'm really hoping that Xastra might figure out something, considering this is entirely her fault, but
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Okay. I can knock the method down to 90 years.
Again, I appreciate the willingness to bargain, but I think I'm gonna take my chance in court.
Okay. One more thing. What if your friends signed a contract for their souls?
Oh my god.
And then I'll help them do whatever they want in your place.
No, honestly, I think both of them have their own thing going on.
Okay. What about me and another guy?
I appreciate all of the willingness to be willing to bend on things, but again, I don't think I can accept.
Okay, 50 years as a method, and okay, don't turn me down yet. And all right, you can hang out with me when I hang out with Severa.
Again, honestly, this is the most tempting because your presence would be very much appreciated. But again, still gonna have to decline.
Well, they can't say I didn't try.
You sure did. No one can say that you did not try. I, again, truly appreciate your flexibility. And again, thank you for all your help. So, very appreciated. I don't think we could have gotten all that done without you, and hopefully it will still matter by the time I get this figured out.
Right. You're going to want to cover your eyes and your ears and your mouth.
All
I don't
right.
know if you have enough hands, so I'll just help. And she kind of like smothers your face as you come barreling out of the vortex and into Avernus. And it is a chaotic, horrific mess. The landscape is on fire or made of fire or some combination thereof. Like jutting, scary, jagged rocks of blasted land upon which devils and demons are locked into eternal conflict. There is so much war happening right now that there is a literal river of blood that swarms through the area and winds down into a sort of hole in the outer edge of it, where a enormous metal spire juts up from below and cascades in a bloody waterfall down this iron castle. It is an assault to the senses. It is disgusting in the most uncomfortable way possible. It is the smell of blood and gunpowder and sulfur. And if, like, mortal anguish could have a smell, it smells like that. This is a horrific place. And right now, against your better judgment, you were kind of wishing you took the offer to skip the blood war. Because if Xastra does not come through for you, this is going to be extremely unpleasant. As you soar over the landscape in whatever contraption or manner of transportation the Barghest is currently conducting you, you can see what happens to souls who have had their contracts turned up. They're screaming engines of warfare, twisted metal cannons, which they are literally loading souls into in order to fire them at the demonic ones. It looks uncomfortable, to say the least.
Sad. Looks not great.
As you go through this, you kind of like drop out of the air from this like screaming vortex in the sky where you came in, and you land on the ground, and it sort of crumbles and ignites under your feet. The Barghest is still duffel bagging you because it's just easier, and with the way it sort of cracks and snaps and hizzles at her toes, you decide that, you know what, maybe this is fine. Maybe this is okay. So she leaps and bounds across this horrible landscape, heading for the iron spire that sticks up from the ground, helpfully pointing out sights along the way.
Oh.
She points out, of course, Tiamat's Dragon Eyrie. She points out, the portal to the abyss that demons come spawning out of and screaming, and all manner of bloodshed, and also the sort of like forward base, the castle thing that Severa Ashra Downwell rules from. It looks surprisingly nice from so far away. Despite being on the first layer of hell, it doesn't seem to be very close to the front lines. So, you know what? Probably not a bad place to hang out. You're never going to see it, though, because she heads to the metal spire and drops down the waterfall of blood into the second level of hell, Diz, as she takes you to court. So it's not long until she has you into the waiting queue of souls who have somehow broken their contracts and need now to be judged. It's terrible. Imagine, if you will, an infinite DMV that stretches in all directions.
Perfect. That is exactly what I was imagining.
Bound in spectral chains, seated on an uncomfortably low bench.
Oh my god.
Waiting for them to call your number. All manner of creatures are beside you, mostly humans, as they are the most ready to make horrible deals. And, some of them have seemed to accept their fate. Some of them are trying to escape and trying to destroy the chains somehow. Some of them have escaped into the realm of madness and tell themselves that actually they're fine here and they're meant to be here and things are okay, and it's all going to be fine. What do you want to do?
Oh boy. I guess my first question is can I still feel my connection with my patron down here?
No.
Okay.
It's not completely gone. But attempting to use any of your powers just is left you with nothing.
Yeah.
And ink isn't there anymore.
Okay. No!
Ink is somewhere. But you don't know where.
Okay.
You still feel the vague connection to ink.
Okay.
He is in hell somewhere.
Oh.
You don't know where.
Okay. So I guess my question is, do I still have some kind of mental link with my patron? If I was trying to get in contact with her here, would I be able to?
Yeah, probably. If you wanted to try and summon her, I'm sure she would receive the request, but...
I'm trying to think of how I want to play this.
Calling your mom to post bail.
No, not. I mean, my mom is the one that got me arrested at this point. I'm trying to figure out if I can do some kind of plea deal before we take this to court.
Oh God, be careful.
I mean, you had the plea deal before you got here. You said no repeatedly.
I mean, that was technically not with my patron.
It's a direct servant of your patron.
I mean, I can only accept plea deals directly from my patron.
Most people have to be a closet for 1,000 years, so
God,
they really fast-tracked you.
Horrifying.
It is a really good deal.
It is a really good deal. Oh man. It's unfortunate I didn't have a backup character, else this would have been a lot easier. But no. Shoot. I'm just trying to think of how exactly I want to do this. I guess, what is my number and how is there, some kind of board showing what is going to get called next? Do I have an idea of how long I have until things happen?
Yes. The number currently being served is 7.
Okay.
You are 836.
Oh, good. Okay, so I have time. I have some time. Okay. I will turn to my left, who is sitting to the left of me.
A very, I don't know, like kind of relaxed looking man, human, mid-30s. And he's just kind of chilling, just looking around, looking at the crowd. And he's like, it's not very crowded here today.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I hear that packs have been down in recent years, so the chances of us getting seen soon are pretty quick.
That's good to know. How long have you been sitting here for?
Time is kind of a funny concept.
Fair.
Down here, so it's not really anything to keep track of time. We don't really have like sunrise, sunset kind of thing.
Makes sense. I guess how many people have been since you've been here?
Oh, a couple thousand, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm up next, 8:35.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, go at it. Good luck.
Yeah, it's just like 830 something people ahead of me, and it's no big deal.
Okay. I respect the delusion. You'll turn to a right.
To your right is a very sour-looking elf who seems to have, attempted to scrunch down as far onto the bench as she can manage.
Oh, what are you here for?
Insurrection.
Oh, insurrection. How'd you manage that one?
Well, I summoned a demon and attempted to use it to put some sense into my fellows, and died. So
yeah, that'll probably do it.
Yeah, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. It always does. Okay, yeah. So she's gonna try and do a mental call to her patron. Not fully summon, but more of a discreet phone call.
Yeah, your patron picks up your psychic call. Daelia, so lovely to hear from you.
Mistress, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. I was just informed of some rather interesting and fortuitous news.
Yeah, so about that, it's so funny. I still don't exactly know what happened.
Well, obviously you're in breach of contract. If you remember Section 3, Subsection C, and pursuant to Subsection B, any communication, whether manifested as a literal document, etc., between you and your third parties, etc., your friend blew it for you.
It's true in a way, but also, is it truly fair that I should be, held accountable for the actions of my friends who make bad decisions?
Is it truly fair that I should be dragged to the mortal world at all manner of times for your silly whims and fighting skeletons and whatnot?
I am just trying to make sure that the world doesn't crash down on itself on account of all these gods dying and creating, holes in the ground for everybody. I'm doing good things out there that are and I'm trying to help the good word of you be spread, and this isn't making it very easy for me.
Well, I do see what you're saying, Daelia. However, if many people are thrown into life or death situations, that is just a source of potential revenue for my office. So I don't really see the problem.
I guess my question is, did you really have to make everything smell like sulfur any time I did something? Because that really does feel like you were the one communicating to my friends that something weird was going on, not me.
Listen, that's not my fault. That is the problem with plane shifting between the hells. I smell quite well, thank you, as I'm
sure you do.
Sure you're intimately aware.
It's true. But the thing is, I didn't do that either. So is it really either of our faults that this happened?
I think that you would have made a good demon.
Saying that can happen later down the line.
Are you saying that you will not contest the ruling?
Necessarily. I'm just saying that there are some other things that I still need to have taken care of before I commit to being in your eternal graces and embrace.
Of course. Well, if your friends would like to come down and make pacts of their own, they're certainly welcome to. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you at the defense trial.
There's one final thing.
I do have... Dear.
Okay, there's a lot of unfinished business that I have up on the surface. And there is not one, but two, well, one god, one demigod that is probably probably going to have something to say about the fact that they can't cash in what they have bargained with me. And I have a feeling that at least one of them is not going to be happy about it, and pretty vindictive from my understanding. So...
Are you suggesting that you would like to renegotiate your terms?
I mean, I'm not saying that.
Daelia, I am quite fond of you, so I'll go ahead and clue you in now. If we go towards this sort of contract rewriting, I don't know that you'll enjoy the cost.
I mean,
worldly
I'm already... You do have me in between a rock and a hard place here with the fact that I'm already down here and have the potential of being turned into a closet, so I don't really know how things can get all that much worse for me unless I put faith into the demonic legal system, which, you know, could go many different ways.
All right. I'm listening. Since I already possess a means to receive your immortal soul, what is it that you want to promise me in order for me to gloss over this breach of contract?
What is it you want?
I want what everyone wants. Power.
Can I give you a call back? I need to get some affairs in order.
Of course, dear.
Okay. Thank you.
So you're still chilling in line?
To you.
Of course. I will see you at the defense trial.
Okay.
So you're still chilling there. They've gone all the way up to finally serving soul number 8. When you catch something moving out of the corner of your eye, again, it is nothing but low benches as far as the eye can see, with unfortunate souls chained to them. But there's something skidding around, hiding between the husks of defeated people. And eventually it makes its way over to you. And you see that it is a kobold. It's just a fucking kobold is there now. He kind of like sneaks up, and he's hiding behind the dour-looking elf. And in kind of rough common, he goes, "Hey, you."
Hello.
He's kind of turning his head around, kind of popping up and looking around, smelling the air.
God, I love kobolds.
He reaches into his clothes and produces a token that you've seen before. It is the little spider lily icon that I have Ross gave you forever ago.
Yep.
I can't stay long. Okay. There's some real mean people coming. So
yes.
I gotta be quick.
Okay, well, what's up?
You have friends here.
Okay.
And he's like bobbing his head.
Is there anything you want me to do? Is there anything I need to do?
No. I do for you.
Okay.
He's nodding his head.
Oh.
If you need to find something, I find for you.
Okay. My brain is drawing a blank at the moment. Would I be able to call on your favor in a later time?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And he gives you the icon. It's like, just squeeze this.
Thank you so much.
Don't let anyone see.
Okay, I won't. Thank you.
And he looks around and disappears into the crowd of people.
Cute.
Xastra and Rushk. We're going to go back to you.
Yes.
What scenes would you like to have now? We've got Xastra is bleeding profusely. You need to be told about what's going on. How much of that would you like to move past, and how much would you like to roleplay?
I think that we can get through most of it with a quick... Unless Winter has something specific that she wants to communicate, I think we can get through most of it with just like some brief descriptions. I know for a fact that Rushk would probably be going around retrieving the vials of liquid that she handed out to take care of the driders very meticulously, making sure that all of them are accounted for, specific like liter amounts are accounted for. She would also look like complete garbage. And when Xastra shows up, there's concern. When Xastra tells her what happened, she looks like a closer who just got asked to open. And It's just this instant descent of tiredness.
I think I would like to do a very short scene of me finally finding you.
Okay.
So, you see Xastra run up, a knife in her back, pierced all the way through.
A knife in her chest.
I thought it went all the way through. Or did she throw it at?
No. It blooms out of you. She got you in the front.
Okay. So there's a knife in her chest. She runs up, out of breath. Rushk. Daelia got dragged to hell. We gotta go.
So that's about the moment that Rushk looks like someone who has been extremely put upon. She starts with not another word. I told you to stay quiet. Rushk puts her hand over your mouth and immediately looks at the knife and starts poking at the area. Did you run here with this in you?
Yeah, I thought I wasn't supposed to take it out.
You shouldn't run. I told you to stop talking. Just nod your head, yes or no. For fuck's sake, this could puncture your lung.
She nods.
The blood still running out of the wound is a very dark color, almost black.
That's... At least it's not infected. Just lay down here. Rushk waves over another one of the medical people. Gives Xastra a piece of wood, takes away the piece of wood. What did you say about Daelia?
She got dragged to hell. We gotta go.
Rushk puts the piece of wood back in your mouth. And then very gently yanks the knife out. And I think that would be a good spot to jump forward unless you wanted to keep going on it.
No, that's good. I'm renaming my moderate consequence to fresh stitches.
Okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask. I have a stunt that I can make. How does helping other players with consequences work, if at all?
So helping other players with consequences is you can just help them treat it more or less. So it'd be a downtime thing mostly for when the session is over. So the bleeding is going to fall off next scene. So she's going to have that mild consequence back. But the moderate consequence is renamed, and then I think at the end of this session, and in the next session, I don't remember. And in next session, she'll have dealt with it. So okay. you as the group's medic are obviously going to be the one seeing after it.
Yes.
So.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so I think obviously we need to tell fucking Taltree and Nyara, because we can't just disappear to hell without letting people know that the people who were supposed to be here to fix everything are leaving, because that would cause a whole incident. We also need to fetch Vajra.
Yeah, Taltree is pissed. It looks like her estimation of you has dropped somewhat.
Damn it.
She wasn't exactly thrilled with Xastra to begin with.
Well,
so
I suppose
any goodwill you built back during the defense of Dare left Xastra been completely tanked with Taltree.
All right. So actually, really quick, I want to have a quick little scene with Taltree, Nyara, Xastra. So Rushk would take the opportunity to say, since it seems like we are spreading around the bad news at the moment, I wanted to bring to your attention, Taltree, that when things were settling down after the assault, I came across a group of... What was the faction called? What are they called? The boys?
The Wolf Lawyer. Oh, yeah. The boys are the Male Advocacy Party.
The what advocacy party?
Male Advocacy
Party. I came across some rather important members of the Male Advocacy Party, and it appeared they had been killed by Drow weapons.
You first.
Okay. I believe that someone or some group used the chaos of the battle to get rid of them.
Taltree sighs, and then she looks at Nyara as though she kind of wants to dismiss him from the room. And Nyara gives a very stern look back, the most serious you've ever seen his face. And he says it is the princess's job to be aware of all of the things that happen under his rule. And so I would like to hear your report. And Paltry says, well, if it is males slaughtered by our own weapons, then it can only have been the work of the women still loyal to Lolth. I am hesitant to reveal this information, as the security and trust of all those within Dareleft are very important to me, but it has come to my attention that Kiransili's presence may have been no mere coincidence. There are signs of rituals having taken place at the Malarn estate.
Autry, I do apologize that we have to leave. This is not an ideal circumstance. Will you be all right while we are gone? Will you be able to keep things together?
I don't want to make any rash or sudden moves, so I will have my people shadow the loyalists during your absence and see if we can't gain more information.
I understand. We will be needing Vajra, the Blackstaff, to come with us, but I believe that Shiria could be of great use to you while we are gone. I will let her know to assist you in any way possible. Xastra?
She's already made herself quite useful in the medical wards, so thank you for that.
I'm glad to hear that. Xastra, let's pay a visit to Xaxarian.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You need a devil when dealing with devils.
All right, so do you want to just go recruit Xaxarian? Do you not want to bother with that scene?
No, I think we can, go to Vajra, be like, hey, Vajra, really sorry about this. We need to go to hell. And then we can just go to Xaxarian and then go to hell.
Yeah.
How are we bribing Xaxarian? What are we promising Xaxarian with, hey, we need you to defend our buddy? Trial for breach of contract.
I actually thought of that ahead of time. So I remember that Xaxarian thought Rushk's manner of proceeding through the test was particularly interesting. So Rushk promises to do a couple more runs of the test so that Xaxarian can accrue more data, if needed.
Xaxarian haggles with you and says, while she does want to see you do a couple more tests, she also needs a variety of data. So you need to get 2 other people that have yet to run through the test to also go through it.
Okay.
People that you think will have interesting responses.
I know one right away. What's her name? The Knoll girl? Brash Vandal.
Brash Vandal?
Man.
Brash Vandal would love it. Brash Vandal would be stoked.
And then later you could probably get Gresha Daga to do it.
I was going to suggest Gresha Daga as well. Okay, yep.
Okay. Yeah, if you get them to run through Xaxarian's test, she'll happily do it. So Vajra is surprised and a little put out, but at the same time, this is not like she's used to hanging out with the former Blackstaff and also Elminster. So as far as level of bullshit she's had to deal with, this doesn't even scratch her top 10.
All right, well, that's good at least. I hope she's getting hazard pay or something.
You gotta work harder.
Same thing with Laeral Silverhand. You, of course, message her at 3 a.m. when she has finally managed to get to sleep. And more or less grumbles her way through well, thanks for the update. Good to know everything's fine. Sort of message. So Vajra ports you to hell. Xaxarian needs no additional support. She's just going to go straight to Daelia's defense. What is your plan when you get there? So you're going to end up in Avernus. You're going to be in the outer layer of Avernus. Again, blasted hellscape, mostly on fire, blood everywhere, constant combat. What's your plan from there?
Oh my god. I think Rushk's first thought is, can I please just die right now, please?
Oh no! Oh.
She wants to see if she can track down and talk to Daelia, if there's visiting hours or something, just to, get the facts straight.
I can cast protection from evil to maybe get through this large battlefield that we've fallen onto.
So, the first thing that Vajra does is summon a method that she then is like, hey, we're here for the defense of Daelia and Volsa. We were only required to enter Hell, not necessarily go to the court itself. So we would like to summon a representative in order to be led to our defendant. And the method is like, yeah, I guess. So you're being led around by like a small, medium-sized devil who does not seem to enjoy this job very much, as they are more or less, like a demonic gopher.
Right.
So they bring you to the Hell DMV, where Daelia is waiting. Daelia has moved up in the line. They're now serving number 100.
Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit.
Daelia also looks like she's been here for 3 weeks. So.
Okay. Is this a time discrepancy thing?
Yeah, the Hell DMV is not exactly a place one wants to be for very long. It's part of the whole process of punishment and justice.
Oh, okay.
You're being led along like an endless hallway or an endless room of tortured souls until you find Daelia. Daelia, you've been here for a long damn time. Oh, you can sit. You sit on the little benches.
Wow, it's not as bad as American DMV.
Right?
Okay.
Daelia, you feel like you've been here forever when finally you see friendly faces in the form of Rushk and Xastra.
What's funny is we also look terrible. Xastra's covered in blood that's just now drying, and Rushk looks like sweaty and sleep deprived and extremely pale.
So we all look the same. All of us are terrible.
Heroes.
Hey, Daelia. So charismatic. Rushk walks up and puts a hand on your shoulder, starts to say something, stops, retrieves like a water pack, and is like, "Do you need a drink?"
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Could you please explain from the top what it is we're dealing with?
So, if you would believe it, I have had a patron since I was 16. As part of the contract that she wrote up for me, a 16-year-old without any legal experience, I was not allowed to tell anyone that I have a contract. I was not allowed to give any indication that I have a contract. And as a result of anyone figuring out that I had a contract and saying something, I would be held in, it would be a breach of contract. So, when I managed to transport us out of the bone mech, I called upon my dear, lovely patron to get us the fuck out of there because I was out of spells and otherwise we were going to die. And it just so happened that between the combination of things smelling like sulfur and me being able to do things that I probably shouldn't be able to do, our dear friend Xastra here came over and very helpfully asked if I ever wanted any help getting out of my contract, that you'd be happy to help me. And now I'm here.
Rushk just stares at Xastra.
She is looking away.
I admit I was not always the most careful. I generally tried to use spells that also would be used by wizards. I've messed up a couple times.
Wait, you're not a wizard?
No! I'm not a wizard!
She looks genuinely shocked.
God.
Rushk pulls out a pill case and takes a couple white small pills and just keeps massaging her temples.
I'm glad that I, despite the fact, still managed to convince you that I was a wizard. This is fine. Actually, you know what? Maybe that can be used in my defense. You still thought that I was a wizard even when you thought that when you asked me about a contract. So, you know what? Technically, I don't. Oh, God.
Listen, Daelia, my dear, we're going to get you out of this. All right, do you remember Xaxarian?
Yes.
I made a deal with Xaxarian to act as your legal counsel. Having a devil on hand would prove useful. In addition to that, I do have an idea about something that can be done.
I also have an idea. I would love to hear your idea.
You first.
Well, I have been in some amount of contact with my patroness, and she said that she was potentially willing to renegotiate my contract in exchange for some other more powerful thing besides just owning my immortal soul. And I had the great idea of, potentially giving her full access and autonomy to my body for a set period of time, for a set period number of times during any given moment, in order to make it so that she would be able to take her affairs on the mortal plane into her own hands versus trying to have her servants do it for her. Because that's the only thing I can think of besides, promising someone else's soul away to them, which I don't personally necessarily feel comfortable doing, would rather not do, and rather not have that on my conscience, because at this point, I don't think anyone else needs to be in this mess. But,
Give her some memory shards.
I am
You
putting
but you
Daelia
could.
possession / fic on my list of things that we need in this game.
So, Rushk, Daelia,
it was
Rushk,
a great idea.
Gently squeezes your shoulder and looks at you not with pity, but that pain in her eyes of seeing someone who has been very, very deeply hurt. And she says, don't let her treat you like you're 16 again. She will take as much as she can get if you let her.
Well, she's already taken quite a lot, considering the way that I got my power was in exchange giving her my life essence, and then I would get power out of it. So it's been a very interesting experience, I'll say that. I did get a cat out of it, and a friend, in quotation marks, I guess, friend.
Rushk, rubs your shoulder for a second and then lets go and says, Do you... I will preface this by saying that acceptance will likely lead to a significant change in your life. Do you want help?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would rather not be in this situation. I'm not, against things staying the same way. If I really wanted to, maybe I could, I don't know, talk myself into getting another pact or some other nonsense, maybe with someone else, but at this point it's kind of one of those things where it's the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, quite literally. So I would still like to have the power to take care of things on my own terms, having actual power. So
I understand.
What was your idea?
Are you familiar with Tiamat?
I actually just saw, we passed by her beautiful area when I was coming in here.
I have read that very few things could destroy an infernal contract.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those things just happens to be neighboring this very court. Additionally, I believe that our friend in a high place, Ayavrasa, had asked us to alert Tiamat to her presence in a way that Tiamat will consider her either a rival or a viable god candidate. I believe that we can accomplish... I believe that, what's the saying? We can kill two birds with one stone.
As it does turn out... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I was recently visited by one of Ayavras's dear, sweet little compatriots who gave me this coin, and she'll just, very surreptitiously flash it in case I needed something found. I have to assume probably that, we have at least some kind of assistance down here. So, that is something to consider. I'm trying to decide if I would rather have a devil or a dragon lich as a patron. I don't know which would be better.
So around this time, Xaxarian comes, and kind of a combination between a hurried walk and a strut. And she's like, what are you doing around here? We gotta go!
Sorry, what?
You look up at the now serving line,
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
your number.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
All
Alright.
Nice to see you again. Xastra, I'm your defense. First thing I gotta know is, kid, did you do it?
No, I didn't.
I like that energy. Just keep lying like that.
Oh my God. Quick question, Xaxarian. Should we accompany you, or would we be best served elsewhere?
Well, you see, I got a foolproof plan to get you out of this. Are we pleading guilty? First, I gotta know that.
No?
No.
Okay, well, if we're not pleading guilty, we can still get out of this. Okay, so if you can figure out a way to find something that can destroy the contract, I got a plan for making it appear, but we gotta really drag things out.
Okay.
I believe we have just the thing then. Xastra, would you accompany me to said thing?
Is it small? Is it discreet? Small and discreet is best.
Does Titanic and conspicuous work?
I mean, you're gonna have a hell of a time getting out of here.
Hey.
We'll think of something.
Right, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. Okay, the other thing I gotta know is, are there any witnesses down here I gotta worry about? Like, you got a familiar or nothing?
I do have a familiar. I don't know where he is.
Great, okay. Somebody's gonna have to find that familiar and break him out.
Oh, where's it being... Is it ink being kept somewhere?
Oh yeah, familiars. It's a conflict of interest thing. They put them in the little dungeon thing. Only problem is protected by a very powerful maze spell. I have no idea where it is.
Oh, jeez.
I believe that all of the pieces required for checkmate are already on the board. The coin.
Yes.
Would Xastra, just out of character, I don't really know. Would Xastra be better served accompanying the little dude, and Rushk goes on the diplomatic mission, or?
Well, you will remember, I'm very good at charisma things.
You could have, so you could either have Xastra come help you convince your secret weapon, or you could have Xastra sandbag in court. Also, it is possible that Xastra could use her charisma skills to lie your way through super hell prison. This is all up to you.
I leave the decision in your hands. Don't make a bad one. Rushk starts walking off towards Vajra.
Is there any way I can get a fate point out of this decision process?
Well, you don't trust Rushk, so if you do something that doesn't involve helping Rushk out, then I'd let you have a face point.
Cool, I'll go to court.
Oh my god.
Go to court? Alright, you're gonna be our star witness. Person who knows nothing and is the reason Daelia is here.
I mean, to be fair, Star Witness thought the entire time that I was a wizard, so...
Oh my god.
He's still not 100% sure you're not.
Alright. So you're gonna send your little kobold buddy to try and find ink and break him out.
Yes.
So since one of you isn't going to go do that, that is going to cause a problem that you'll have to deal with later.
Would I be able to give the kobolds any sort of thing that I would have had of inks as some sort of finding aid, maybe?
So I'll say that the kobold will absolutely be able to find and break out ink. But if nobody goes with the kobold, it'll cause a problem later.
Okay. Well, I can't really go.
Julia, would you prefer me go help the kobold than help you in court?
I don't have a preference. I guess it's up to all of us if we want to have an extra problem.
I don't want anything bad to happen to ink.
Problem.
Yeah, I would rather not have anything bad happen to ink.
Yeah.
It would be unfortunate.
Right. I'll go help the kobold spring from jail.
Oh. Alright, I'm gonna give you Ink's backpack because I would assume that it has at least
his bubble backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least it'll have a very strong connection, I would assume, to ink if you end up needing that to help.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
So, Daelia, you are summoned to court with Xaxarian. And so it's kind of cool. It's set up in a way that makes it look more like a spectator arena than an actual like court of justice, complete with a crowd of devils who are all excited to watch you squirm under the law of the Nine Hells of Beator. You are sitting before the honorable Judge Scrooge, who is assisted by a massive four-horned muscular bailiff that looks like he could probably crush almost any material you can think of in one hand. Xaxarian is busy shuffling papers and is briefing you on your defense. And she says,
would love to know what that is.
Just lie. Lie about everything. Sandbag as much as possible. Just make shit up as much. We will confuse them on the facts of this case. And right around that time, of course, the bailiff in a very deep voice reminds you, naturally, a spell of true sight as well as detect lies is present in the arena, so we advise the defendant not to lie or attempt to hide anything.
Oh boy.
And then Xaxarian says, forget that. All right, don't lie at all. The truth, nothing but the truth, okay?
Did we make a mistake?
No, I think I've seen enough movies about lawyers to know that this is going to go well.
So, who do we want to do first? Do you want to go talk to Tiamat, or do you want to break Ink out of prison?
I think talk to Tiamat would probably be the wisest choice to start with.
All right.
Okay.
I have Vajra helping me get there.
Vajra helping
BTW.
you get there. Vajra summons a obsidian statue of a horse, and the two of you write that. It is more or less comfortable given the place where you are.
Can I have a quick conversation with Vajra?
Yeah, okay.
Madam Blackstaff, can I just personally say how relieved I am that you accompanied us, and also how sorry I am that you accompanied us.
Oh my god.
Don't worry about it. I'm given to believe this is not even close to the kind of things that Kelvin got up to. So as far as the Blackstaff legacy is concerned, this may just be a footnote.
Still, effort's effort and danger is danger. When we make it back to Waterdeep, perhaps I could buy you dinner sometime. Just as thanks.
You know what, Mishgrews? I think I would like that very much.
I'm glad.
Hell yeah.
So you roll up to Tiamat's palace, more or less?
Like,
I would say that it's like, a place where a dragon is, you would assume that there would be like places for doing stuff or receiving visitors, but it seems to be a floating structure that is designed to show off Tiamat and nothing else. There is a large receiving area in front of Tiamat where you can see Tiamat in all her glory, and behind her is the massive portal to the collection of souls where Tiamat keeps the souls of dragons who have disappointed her. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
It's just the terrifying five-headed colossal dragon and her very scary, I am definitely going to put you in here, a bank of souls.
Just as a side note, this makes two mother goddesses now who don't treat their children very well. Is this maybe who designed these people?
I don't know. This is everything I remember
that's Ed Greenwood
with mothers.
All right. Anyway, so there is like a path up, right? And Tiamat just kind of.
Mm-hmm. It's
all
vaguely person-sized for when the devils need to come talk to Tiamat.
Is there a line or anything, or can I just go up there?
No, there are a couple other chromatic dragons just kind of hanging out, forming Tiamat of things that are going on in the mortal world.
Mm-hmm.
You as a human are so far beneath her that she will probably not even recognize you. Like, so you need a way to announce yourself in a manner that she would care.
Can dragons tell when someone is lying?
They can, but they have to suspect you of lying first.
Okay, I see.
I mean, she's a dragon. She knows a lot of spells. If she wanted to cast it, she could.
I'm sure. Rushk will wait for whatever seems like a lull in dragon conversation. I don't actually know what that would look like, if it's just a bunch of, like, grumbling or something, and will bow, and as loud as possible, so as to reach Tiamat's ears, will say, "I have been sent by Bahamut."
Immediately, all of the heads snap to attention and come in to invade your personal space. So close and so rapidly that some of them turn to begin snapping at each other for bumping into them.
So, of course, even though we are in hell, Rushk feels her blood run cold. I don't think anybody could keep completely together in a situation like this. So, after a steadying breath, I'll say, not as his chosen or as one of his servants, but as a simple messenger. I am here to bring news of a contender for both of your thrones.
A simple message from a simple dragon, one of the heads snaps. And then another one, like, shoots a gout of lightning before saying, "Speak it quickly."
So, do I have like an emblem of Eye of Rasa?
Yeah.
The emblems,
as far as I'm aware, you've been holding on to it.
Okay. The emblems have, like, some of the divinity in it, right?
Yeah, as an icon, they communicate to people what they're for.
So Rushk will present the icon, just hold it up, and say, does Eye of Rasa have, like, an official title or anything, like a longer, more impressive name, or is it just Eye of Rasa?
Eye of Rasa, the Ancient Rose Dragon?
Okay, yeah. Eye of Rasa, the Ancient Rose Dragon, has taken the opportunity that the death of the unknown god is created to begin constructing an afterlife for dragons, those who worship dragons, and kobolds, which, as I'm sure you may know, would take away from the souls that you would find funneling into your collection.
One of the heads is laughing, another head is, like, growling in rage, and a third one says, "And you mean to suggest to me that this contender has the means to provide that sort of thing?"
I do, yes. We, myself and my compatriots who are not here, ran into Bahamut on the way from meeting her. He seemed rather concerned, as Eye of Rasa has amassed a number of memory shards and is using them to elevate her own divinity. In addition to that, it seems that she is bolstering her numbers by recruiting warlocks who have fallen out with their patrons. It seems, I've heard, that she's capable of incinerating infernal contracts, which is, I must admit, rather surprising, as I thought that they could not be destroyed. And I thought that perhaps even you might be a little tested in destroying such a thing.
So when you're talking about just Bahamut worrying about her, the heads kind of grow a little bit bored as they think very little of Bahamut.
Yes.
But as you suggest that Eye of Rasa might possess a power that Tiamat herself does not, the heads grow very haughty and very angry. And they're like, "Nonsense. There is nothing in this demonic realm that we could not destroy."
Kind of awkwardly clears her throat and says, "I hesitant to bring this up, but I did just come from the Infernal Court, and I heard them speaking of you, Madam Tiamat, and, well, perhaps I shouldn't go on."
Of course they are speaking of me. I'm the terror that lives on their doorstep.
Rushk, grimaces and is like,
interested me. What are they saying about us? Not that I care.
I believe that the specific wording used was, what's it called? A tourist attraction. I believe it's been too long, Madam Tiamat, that it's been too long since you've demonstrated your power and majesty, and they've forgotten that they should fear you.
One head freezes the columns of supports near you, and they frost her with ice. One begins calling down thunder that strikes near your position, and another
Don't kill me.
coughing up acid. You have to end up hiding behind Vajra, who constructs a magical shield to protect you during Tiamat's rage. How dare they? She growls.
Madam Tiamat, I must admit I share in your anger. I have read of your exploits, and I have heard of the many great things you've accomplished over time, and having known of these things, it's the entire reason I came here to deliver this news to you. I thought it was criminal that you had been snubbed in such a way, and far be it from me to ever suggest something to someone so great as you, but I believe I have an idea as to how you can put the fear of Tiamat back in the devils.
We will entertain this idea, but for a moment.
Of course. And truthfully, this is something that I only imagined after reading of your exploits and your many triumphs. But perhaps if you could, there is, as I hear, a trial occurring in the court as we speak. There are devils from all across hell gathered there to witness the verdict. There are, of course, the guilty party, the witnesses, the bailiffs, the room is packed full, so much so that the line wraps around the very building. If you were to, I know it may sound a bit ridiculous, but if you were to disguise yourself so that they don't recognize you, so that you can prime them for the reveal of your majesty in the court, when they produce a demonic contract, you reveal yourself and destroy the contract, thus at once proving that you are to be feared and stronger or strong as or not even worth considering Eye of Rasa, then I believe you would solve all of your problems at once.
This would be a trifling matter for me. Destroy the contract? I will destroy the whole court. I will melt that iron tower to slag.
Fuck. Of course.
So this colossal dragon, dragon,
please
shrinks down into the form of a humanoid woman, slightly taller than yourself. And she says, "All right, lead the way. I will show them the power and glory of Tiamat, and you will witness it and tell others."
Yes, of course. Isn't that right? I turned to Vajra, sweating bullets.
Absolutely. Everyone will know what occurred here.
Fuck.
So you've got Tiamat. Let's see how things are going with Xastra.
Taking Tiamat to the DMV.
Taking Tiamat to the DMV. So Xastra.
Yes.
You meet up with the kobold that is supposed to help you find things. All you do is squeeze the emblem, and from out of the crowds of the DMV comes a kobold, and he comes up to you and he starts bobbing his head and then moves his arms and a leg backwards into something that you assume resembles a kind of curtsy or bow. You're not really sure. He introduces himself as Click Clap, and he says that he can help you find anything.
Fantastic. I need to find a cat.
A cat? Yes, I can do this. Yes.
A specific cat.
A specific cat. More difficult, but definitely possible.
All right. I will describe Ink.
He's nodding.
He's a familiar of a friend of mine, and this is his carrier.
Oh.
So he takes the carrier and he puts his nose into the backpack and sniffs around for a little while, and then he says, "Yes, I can find this cat." So he leads you through the city of Iron, through Diz, to a secluded portal that takes you into a magical maze, which is exactly as it sounds, a gigantic maze of stone walls, and you are mostly unbothered due to the finding skills of Click Clap. But as you peer down, other paths in the maze that you could have taken, you see all manner of horrible things that could have befallen you. Minotaurs, displacer beasts, pitfall traps, all kinds of horrific things. And eventually, Click Clap takes you to a dimensional-esque prison, right? So it's a bunch of floating bubbles of energy in which are trapped various creatures and people. So the good news is you have found the cat. The bad news is the only way to bring down the specific energy bubble you need is to interact with the guardians of the prison, who stand on either side of the mechanism that draws down the prisoners. And they look extremely fearsome. One is a 9-foot-tall woman with 4 arms who is clasping a collection of wicked-looking weapons. And the other is an equally tall and equally ripped man, a rather masculine devil. They're kind of just glaring at you. They're giving you the impression that while they understand that maybe you're not supposed to be here, you're not as enough of a threat for them to do anything to you.
All right. So I will present myself before them and bow a little bit, and then say, "I'm here to pick up my friend's cat."
So the woman stops you and says, "Yeah, and?"
"I would appreciate your help in this matter."
Right, I'm just going to do what any rando who comes up and asks me to do things with. And the other devil is like, no, let's hear her out. Why do you need this cat?
It's very important for her court case.
So it's a court thing? That's kind of boring. I don't know if I'm really into this. Is there some kind of way you can spice this up? Who is this,
I'll fight one of you
friend to you?
She's very important.
Very important. Extremely important? Would you say, worth risking your life for? And
absolutely.
The woman folds both sets of arms and rolls her eyes like she's heard this before. So would you say this is a feeling of love, perhaps, that's brought you here?
No, not really.
Really?
She's a really good friend.
You're just gonna dangle that out there, and okay, so like a really good friend, and you haven't yet admitted it to yourself, kind of deal, or?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really thought about it. I think she has someone else she likes, actually.
So it's an unrequited love. That's even more interesting.
Yeah.
So you think that this grand gesture to throw her court case into shambles is what will finally win her over?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Oh my fucking god,
So when
I'm
you put
going
it like
to kill
that,
both of you. So it seems like the one devil is amenable to doing what you want, but you're going to need some kind of thing that convinces him that this is just like his Korean mon was.
This is like what?
Just like his Inmon was. Just like all of the romance stories he's been reading.
Yeah.
But also not piss off the other one. So what's your tact here to convince them?
So the other one that I'm pretty sure she's into did do this to me. And she will gesture to her fresh stitches.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there's stakes. And so the side of the blood kind of gets the other one interested as well. And she's like, so was this going to lead to like some kind of climactic fight to the death sort of thing? Like last one left standing? Because I could get behind that.
I mean, it might. I did promise I would bring her back no matter what.
Okay. Right. Let's have you roll your charisma to see if they're swayed.
11.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
give me one last good speech about the power of love and friendship.
Look, honestly, I really think that other girl's kind of bad for her. She does kill a lot of people.
Make it more romantic. Make it more romantic.
Fuck. I, the player, am very bad at this.
So you weave together a more or less true story of
Yes.
sordid romance.
Yes.
That moves them both to tears.
Oh.
And so they bring down the little energy orb containing ink and simply hand him to you.
Cute.
Ink, I'm so glad you're back.
Oh.
Oh, thank you both
Ink,
so much.
Yeah, Ink beeps at you and then jumps on your shoulder.
I'll open his little carrier for him.
So we have Ink, we have Tiamat, Daelia. We're in court.
Yep.
You are being grilled over your involvement in the breach of contract.
Mm-hmm.
Xastra has advised you that you need to somehow get them to bring out the contract. So what's your strategy for that?
Mm-hmm. I would say my strategy is probably going to be, does the contract have any sort of provisions or information about if said breach was essentially made out of created inadvertently out of a mistake on the person that even realized the contract was a thing, if they never actually realized what kind of contract it was.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you want to argue minutia that they would have to bring up the document to assess.
Yes.
Severashra Downwell and her counsel, of course, argue that since the wording of the contract states that it is at the sole discretion of the provider, aka Severashra Downwell, that doesn't matter whether or not the breach of contract was made accidentally, as it is exactly the same as a purposeful breach of contract.
Or if it is even a breach of contract in the first place, or does the breach of contract still count if said contract wasn't regarding my status of being a warlock in the first place?
Okay. So I think that's probably specific enough that they would bring out the contract for review. It is a physical document. It looks like a cool long scroll that you did in fact sign in blood. And at that moment,
oh boy,
I would like Faye to narrate Tiamat going ham.
I think that it's a bit like surviving a bomb going off in front of you. I don't know if there's so much to narrate as there is just insert flashbang sound effect we all hate here. I'm sure that, Tiamat announces that she's Tiamat, and then, it changes, and then it fucking incinerates everything in sight. God. Can I have made plans beforehand with Vajra so that we all don't get turned to ash?
Or goop or some other non-person shaped material.
Yeah. Or like something against elements, protection against elements spell.
Because remember, you are required to witness Tiamat doing the thing. So Vajra brings you and Daelia and Xastra undercover, the most powerful protective spell she can manage. And you are an island of relative safety in a sea of chaos as Tiamat destroys the contract and does not stop there. She burns the judge's bench. She burns both council seats. She begins crushing the arena you're in. She starts melting the tower in which the court is established. And she doesn't stop until everything is reduced to rubble. And one of the great towers of the city of Diz is slag at her feet. You are standing on the one patch of bare stone with molten metal lapping at the defensive wards Vajra has set up for you.
Do we need to
Tiamat-
remain in court to testify that they don't have a contract?
No. Tiamat proudly saunters over to you in her massive dragon form and is like, well, was it not everything I described?
It was magnificent. I will be recalling this moment for the rest of my pitiful days, and I will be telling my progeny and their progeny's progeny of it for time immemorial.
Tiamat is preening and kind of trying to get you to go along. And so it's sort of a tired little scene that you and Vajra and Xaxarian put on, where you each take turns talking about how great it was and how scared you were and how, the devils will have new respect for her.
We love a petty queen.
I knew that Tiamat would be like a fucking Greek god. She's exactly like a fucking Polyphemus type of situation where it's like, well, I don't think you could do it.
So good.
It's incredible.
So good.
Eventually she gets bored of it and, devils start showing up. So she leisurely leaves the area. And Xastra, you get back to the court and it is way more open air than you remember, and also very melted.
Hey, what was... Oh, Daelia, here's your cat. What happened?
We discovered that they don't have the contract.
Oh.
Yeah.
Easy.
Ink blinks the last little distance between Xastra to Daelia.
Oh.
And is purring and rubbing his face on you and...
Sweetie. What a good cat. Good, sweet cat.
So do we just, leave?
Yes, we should just leave.
Wait, so just, if we leave now, everything is fine, everything, we weren't going to get if-then or something by your patron, ex-patron. Sorry, not sorry.
No, this will definitely be interesting. Actually, if Ink is still here, what does that mean?
It means that Ink has been released from service.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Yeah, we should probably just go. I think I can deal with whatever fallout comes from this on my own turf where I'm not in hell.
So you notice in the sky from the now newly opened roof that isn't there anymore, there are a lot of winged shapes approaching you.
Okay, yeah, we should leave.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You hear from a distance the screaming voice of Severa Ashera Downwell, proclaiming her undying hatred for you as Vajra teleports you or plane shifts you out of hell.
Daelia just blows a kiss in her direction as she's transported out.
And I think that's going to be it for today's session.
Incredible.
Oh, by the way, Daelia, Cinderella was very worried about you.
Oh.
And she'll, tap the wound on her chest.
Oh.
Aww.
What a character. She really, really is something. My goodness. I'll have to deal with that eventually when we get back.
Do you know what her deal is?
I mean, she's got a lot going on, Lots of unresolved, internalized homophobia, all that stuff. So
that makes sense.
Nice to see she cares. I'm sorry you had to be the recipient of that, though. Thank you for getting my cat. Thank you for bringing in a petty dragon goddess to get me out of this. I owe all of you my life and my immortal soul, so... Yeah.
No more of that. No more of that. You don't owe me anything. If you owe me anything, it would just be the chance to rest.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we should all get some sleep. I don't think I've slept in a month. I think. So...
Time seems really weird here.
It is. It's very strange. I have absolutely no concept of how much time has passed. Wait, did you guys come directly from the fight?
Yeah.
Rushk stares at you.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, everybody. That will be the end of today's episode of Drow and Dracoliches. Thank you all so much for being here. And we will be back next week with normal Daryl stuff. Back on the things we had planned instead of this spur of the moment side quest in hell. Bye, everybody.
It's definitely my fault.
This was your fault.
This was your fault.